All right, so this is going to be a Platinum Reinhardt VOD review. Looking forward to this one. It's been a long time since I've coached some Reinhardt, so I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much. This is a replay review. What do you hope to get out of the session? Every match I play, I spot many mistakes I make, and I'm trying to improve on all of them, but it's hard when there's so much I'm doing wrong. So first off, congratulations on actually knowing that you're doing a lot wrong. You're already 2 steps above other folks. Number 1, people who think that they're doing nothing wrong. Number 2, people who know that they're doing wrong but don't know what they're doing wrong. You seem to have at least a general idea of what you're doing wrong, but trying to focus on all of them is kind of overwhelming. So I'd like you to point out the most important part or parts of my game that I should focus on improving to make it as efficient as possible. Perfect. And tell me exactly how to go about improving them. If there are multiple, could you please rank them in order of importance at the end of the session? Yes. I'd like to focus on improving one thing at a time, so look for what to investigate with them. Also, I'm well aware of the importance of sleep, exercise, and diet. Working on improving that, so I'd like you to skip to that part and go straight into gameplay. Okay, works for me. How often, how long do you play Overwatch per day? 2 hours every day, which translates into around 6 matches and a short self-VOD review in the end. Okay, sounds good. What are your long-term, short-term goals in Overwatch? Okay, so short-term, I'd like to establish myself in Diamond. My rank is very inconsistent, constantly fluctuates, but as low as Gold 1 and Diamond 4. I find Diamond rank games much more enjoyable, and I'd like to not drop to Plat anymore. Long-term, get as good as I can be at Reinhardt. Okay, sounds good. So what I would like to point out is with inconsistency, I would take a look at which of your peripherals, if any of your peripherals, and that includes your mental, your sleep, your training time, your warm-up, maybe maps, certain maps you struggle more with. Where is the inconsistency outside of that? It is very normal to have only just inconsistency with your gameplay, but generally that's almost always accompanied by with inconsistency with something else, whether, like I said, mentality, training structure, or something like that. So I would make sure that those aren't issues, and then if they aren't issues, then I wouldn't worry about the inconsistency that remains. You only can control the inconsistency that you can control. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? I'm afraid it might be mechanics. I'm missing way too many short-range fire strikes. My reaction time is pretty slow. So let's start with the mechanics. One thing you might be able to add to your warm-up is maybe doing an unranked deathmatch on Reinhardt to practice your fire strikes on anything that's not the enemy Reinhardt. See, the problem with practicing Reinhardt is you will go into this, like, let's just look at our code here, right? You see you're playing versus D.Va. Even later in the VOD review, you're playing D.Va still? Yeah, looks like still D.Va. But like, let's say this is a D.Va or an Orisa or a Sigma or a Reinhardt, right? You will be spending a lot of your time throwing fire strikes at the enemy Reinhardt, and that's fine. But that's not exactly pushing yourself mechanically. So you want to have a little bit of separate time where you're pushing yourself mechanically with your, I know it sounds corny, but tracking with your hammer, hitting your fire strikes, hitting your pins and slip your targets. And I think deathmatch, even just for 5 to 10 minutes at the start of every day, is a great way of doing that. People are gonna get mad at you for playing a tank and deathmatch, but you're just gonna be squishier. It's good practice. Trust me on this one. That will help a little bit with your mechanics. My reaction time is, in terms of the rest of the mechanics, by the way, just playing will fix that. Reaction time is pretty slow, hard to countercharge. Block cooldowns, blocking showers is especially challenging. All the ways of improving your reaction speed with that is practice and anticipation. So anticipate the cooldown. For example, if we look at the situation that you're in right now, I look at the enemy composition. My entire mindset is blocking sleep dart, nade, or shatter. I don't need to worry about sticky grenade or helix, damage orb. I don't need to worry about fire strike. So all you should be focusing on is specifically 1 cooldown or 2 cooldowns and worrying about blocking those cooldowns. So what that might mean is you might need to take some time to go into this game and feed a little bit with your positioning, feed a little bit with your shield management, so that you get really, really good at being able to deal with playing versus enemy honest. That's a very important skill that you want to develop an autopilot for. If we skip to a later point in the VOD review, they're playing the same comp. I'm trying to look for a different composition. Maybe they don't give me another comp. Okay, whatever. Okay, they're on Reaper. Okay, great. So for Reaper, I'm focusing on making sure I shield dance to play around the Reaper. So for my point is that you already have the idea of, like, I'm going to be working at a lot of different things, but for you, it's going to be about isolating those and practicing those in isolation. That could also be Earth Shatter. So I spend it as soon as they pick Reinhardt, I immediately shift my focus onto tracking and playing around when he has Shatter and reacting to it. There are also some custom games for that. Sadly, I don't have the codes of those off the top of my head. You could probably Google them, Earth Shatter practice, and that would be something that you could do for your warm-up too. And maybe countercharge as well. There might be a Reinhardt 1v1. Somebody in chat, if you guys in chat and YouTube, if you guys know of a cooldown for Reinhardt for practicing these things, let me know. That would be awesome. But yeah, basically, when you're saying, oh, my reaction time is slow because I have a hard time doing this, well, yes, because you're trying to do this. Isolate one of those depending on the enemy composition. Block that. and then let the other stuff go, because it's a ridiculously complicated game. If you're not autopiloting 99% of what you're doing, you're going to struggle. I guarantee you it's not reaction time. I successfully blocked probably 20% or less of enemy shadows I'm actually expecting, despite having hundreds of comp hours on Ryan. Practice would be something, like I said, if you are expecting the shatter and you're still not blocking it, then it might be something that you need to practice in that custom game that I was specifically saying. The question is if you are you expecting it? Because it is a lot harder to block a shatter that you're not actively thinking about, if that makes any sense. But if it really is a reaction speed thing, which it might, I would practice that in a custom game that somebody will please link to me. And if somebody doesn't link to me, Google it. If you can't find it on the Google, message me. I will find it. So just let me know. First person shooter could be. Yeah, I also have a difficult thing on my feet, tend to fumble a lot, even though I know what the correct play would be. Executing the heat of the moment is much harder. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so your problem might be a little bit of overthinking in the heat of the moment, trying to do too much, or not being like. Here's the thing: when people are put in the heat of the moment, you either do one of two things. You either have you have dealt with difficult situations before, so you're able to stay calm and think, or you have the response to those crazy chaotic moments so ingrained that you don't even need to think. For example, when they have a fire drill at school, they do that so that kids don't have to think. They just do it when there's a fire. It just happens. You don't need to stay calm. You just shut up and do what you're supposed to do. That's it. There's no thinking involved. Now, what if something out of the ordinary happens or unorthodox happens? And that's where thinking on your feet is a little bit more challenging. But for you, it might not just be that I struggle thinking in the heat of the moment. It might be that there's too many things that you don't do without thinking because you're not good enough at them. For example, we talked about blocking cooldowns from Ana. If you can't, in the heat of a moment with swinging with a Reinhardt, react to a sleep dart or react to a shatter, then you need to practice that instance until it becomes almost non-thinking. If that makes any sense. So it's a little bit of, yes, I need to kind of stay calm in the heat of the moment, and I need more skills that I don't need to think about at the same time. 7 hours of sleep, okay, a little bit low, but all right. That's mostly it. Okay, I don't think I see a whole lot more in there that I need to see. Obviously, if any questions come up in the moment as you watch this review, please let me know. Okay, all that being said, let's take a look at some Reinhardt. The goal with Reinhardt is very simple. Hit people with your hammer to control space. Look at where your team is fighting, look at where your team wants to go, and hit them with your hammer. Choosing who to hit with your hammer, or whom, depends on the persons that are the easiest to hit with your hammer, and also the people that are playing the most aggressively. If this diva flies up here, she is very easy to hit with your hammer. She's also playing very aggressively. You could fly all the way over here and hit this Mercy with your hammer, but that would be very, very far away. It took you a long time. It would be very difficult to get there, so don't worry about it. Instead, focus on hitting the diva in front of you. However, if there's a Mercy and a diva right in front of you at the same time, choose the Mercy because she's squishier and easier to kill. Yeah, I think that's mostly all I would say on the topic. Nothing to do right now. Good try. I appreciate what we tried to do there. Shield again. Good fire strikes. Nicely done. Nicely done. Retake space. Retake high. Now, here's what I would do. I would immediately pin up the high ground to retake high ground. Once you've done that, if you look down and your Cassidy is still standing by himself right here, then you have my permission to drop. My problem is that it did not look like there was a lot of urgency for you to retake high ground, and that now you're using the Cassidy as an excuse to stay. If you give that Cassidy every opportunity to give up positioning and he doesn't take it, then you may drop and play with him. But as is right now, obviously that ends up costing you. Okay, the corner is now held. Let's now hit people with our hammer. Good. Love to see it. Hit him with a hammer. It's a little too far away. Go back and start again. Looks good. . Good. Not a whole lot to say here. I'm just going to keep playing it out. You're holding the corner. Whenever anybody gets anywhere close, you hit them with your hammer. Pushing through the choke there is very difficult, and you know it. You have my permission to walk forward and kill the soldier. Nice. He should die. He doesn't die. That's okay. I'm going to zoom through this because we have 2 codes, and if there's nothing super relevant, I'm not going to waste my time. So you're doing fine. I would say mechanically not perfectly fluid. Maybe our movement, our hammers, our fire strikes, and shield management could be a little bit better. And by shield management, I mean when specifically we're moving from cover to cover. Do I need to shield? Do I need to shield? Do I not need to shield? And so on. But nothing super complicated. Nothing that I think is particularly important. I would definitely hold high ground, though. I don't know why you're dropping. There's no reason to drop because there's nobody to swing on at the choke right now. So start on the high ground and then drop later when you need to. It's the same thing that happened with the previous fight. Control high ground space, because what happens if the Diva flies up here and starts to fly in your Cassidy and Kiriko? Not only can you shield your Cassidy, but you could hit the Diva with your hammer. And in addition to that, if you wanted to go super crazy LH Cloudy Reinhardt foolishness, you could all drop on the backline and shatter them if you wanted to. You could do that from high ground. Why would you stay here? What space are you controlling right now? Right? This choke doesn't matter right now. This choke mattered earlier because they were fighting for it. But right now, nothing's happening. Why are you fighting for the space? This is the space that matters. And while you can't do a lot up here, you can at the very least shield. Right? Hold space. What space matters right now? What space do I need to take away? Who do I need to hit with my hammer? Because the problem is then... I mean, look at this. Your team is fighting up here. Your team is not fighting over here. So what ends up happening is you demand healing on the floor. So your Kiriko and your supports have to leave the people who are really fighting for high ground. Bye. And yeah, it's not great. One day people will learn how to use Bastion ult. Now, there's 2 ways of looking at this. Number 1, you should have blocked Sleep Dart and Nade. Or Nade. 2, why swing on Reinhardt when Reinhardt is not doing anything? Do you know who is doing something? The soldier. I don't know if you knew he was doing something. Just hold the choke. Hold the choke. Make him walk to positions that you want to hold. For example, why do you not hold the spawn door on Dorado? Like legitimately the spawn door. Because you don't care about that space. You want them to walk into where your team wants to fight them. Then that's the space that you want to control. You kind of see what I'm saying? Where is the space that your team wants to control? High ground. This spot over here, right? Like that's at least that's not where your supports were. So why are you fighting this Reinhardt for this spot right here? You don't care about this spot right here. Are you going to kill the Reinhardt by doing this? No, you're just going to tickle him. It's going to be a tickle match back and forth. So why fight him for it? And you die. Because you're holding space that your team doesn't care about, and now your supports are going to die. Or your supports should have died. Ooh, they got very fortunate. Could just shatter this. Shatter it. Nice! Brilliant shatter. Even if it doesn't hit the Reinhardt there. Hitting the soldier is exactly what you needed. Keep going. He's in your space. Get him out. And he's low, too. Get her. Get her, get her, get her, get her, get her, get her. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's okay. I think this fight is pretty reasonable. I think you should be pleased with this fight. It's unfortunate that you guys pulled a C9, but hey, we love it. I think you did a good job. When they walk into your space, you hit them. And you told me you had a problem with close range fire strikes. Teams in spawn, get out of here. Now let me ask you a question. What space matters to your team? What space matters to your team? What space is important for you guys to control? High ground, right? This high ground right here. Now, if you want to or need to stop cart, right? Grimby! If you want to or need to stop cart, do you need to stop it here? No. Do you need to stop it before you get to here? Yeah, probably. So at some point you're going to need to drop to stop cart. But where will you need to drop and stop cart? Because that's the other thing with the Reinhardt. You want to control the space on high ground, but ultimately they're just going to push cart, right? Yeah. So stop the cart. But where should you do it? When does the objective matter more than the space that you're controlling? Grimbiorn! Hang on. My cat is being silly. Grim! Hey! What's wrong? No, you can't go out there. Go out there. If he sits. Okay, so no, he does not. Come here. So yes, you want to control space, but you need to ask yourself, is this space important, or is the objective important too? Find that balance, right? Good boy. Because you honestly could take high ground here if you wanted to. Now, if your team is controlling this corner here, then you can control this corner with them, right? We talked about that with the Cassidy earlier. If this Cassidy wants to control here, great, control here. Do the absolute best job that you can at controlling the space right here. Let's see what we do. Looks good to me. Now I would walk in front of my Bastion here. Nice. That was good. That was really nice. Nice juke. Nice juke. I don't know if you did it on purpose, but you did a good job dancing around the Bastion ult and then getting to cover afterwards too. Brilliantly done. You guys win this fight now. Love it. Nice. Good use of cover as well. Love it. Good job. It's okay. Walk, shield this guy. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we really need to pay a little bit of attention to Bastion. He is one of those heroes that will benefit a little bit from your shield. So if you can't directly control space by hitting people with your hammer, indirectly help them control space with your shield, right? There's a balance. Shield is mostly for you, but if there is no reason for you to use your shield, then there's a reason for you to use it for your team. Good shatter him. Your team is holding this choke. Okay, now they're backing out. Oh, that's a huge flank. Not a lot you could do about that. Let's keep going. We definitely get a recontest, though. Do we? Why is my Bastion dead? No comment. Yeah, I mean, brain just kind of goes off there. Don't you dare say bad reaction time. That is walking out here knowing that Ram's gonna push shield. You are waiting for Ram to push shield and then shattering around that. I guarantee you were not thinking about Ram shield right now. See, the thing is, you need to be thinking about Ram shield right now. Right now, it's too late. Now the inner voices have won. Now you're just gonna press the Q no matter what. You need to be expecting Ram shield, walk around the Ram shield, shatter Ram shield, or shatter around Ram shield. If you do, you win this fight. Maybe you still win this fight. Maybe. Good use of cover. Charlie Niner. One bad turn deserves another. Let's keep going. Oh, I like what I'm seeing here. That space matters. You could just push cart, but it's hard. At some points, that space gets really, really difficult to deal with. Do it. Do it, you coward. Do it. If you'd gotten a little earlier, you could have booped him off of high and I would have been cheering, but that's okay. Still good, though. Still good. Still good. Be careful around your HP, please. You don't necessarily need to push anymore. Nice fire strike. Just play your life here. You're good. Honestly, I think you're fine. Your supports are back now. Yeah, see, I think you're okay. If you're going to go for the mega, go earlier. Now, what space matters? Please stop. Please do not drop the card. This still matters. Your team is fighting for this space. You need to help them fight for this space. If your team is engaged in combat, go help them with fighting for that space. Don't go sit on cart. These guys are not fighting for space. These guys are poking from a million miles away. These guys are fighting for space. Go help them. Thank you. Very important that that happens. Now, who do you need to push out? Who is fighting for space now? Bastion and Soldier. Sick 'em. Thank you. And you said that you had bad short-range fire strikes. I'm messing with you. Good. Genji's in there. We're fighting. Shatter. No shield? Totally fine. This is going to be a nice stagger for them. Get her. Get her. I'm ignoring that fire strike. Get her. That's alright. And you get res? Alright. Now, this is the tricky part with Rein. Oh, yes! Okay. High risk, high reward. Alright. Where is the space that matters? Well, obviously high ground. Usually high ground. That's usually the space that matters because that's usually where all the scary people are, right? Now, you as Reinhardt might have a hard time dealing with that. Now, you could do what you're doing right now, or you can say, well, I can't control or clear high ground. Let's say their Orisa was up on high ground, or their Bastion was up on high ground, and you're like, man, I can't get up there. Like, I get up there and I get no help. It's fine. If you can't control the space, then avoid it. Push cart, hide underneath the high ground. Don't do anything. Make them drop to contest cart, right? Because if they don't drop to contest cart, remember we had that thing earlier, right? Where you're like, okay, hold high ground, but at some point you're gonna have to stop cart. You could push the cart all the way to like here. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes as Reinhardt, you can utilize your tankiness to leverage the objective if you can't get on top of them with your hammer. Now, it just so happens that it's just Soldier and high ground right now. And not only just Soldier, but your team is like not really fighting right now, so you've got time to stage. Good job. And now the space that matters, the dangerous high ground, is now clear. Bang. Nice shot. And now, if you'd like, you could stay here and shield for your bat. If the fight breaks out in cart, you can drop to cart, but you're guaranteeing nobody gets the high ground. If my team doesn't get the high ground, then nobody gets high ground. So I don't know that I would even drop here immediately. I don't know that you can help. I would hold high for a little bit. You know, just hold high. Shield for your bat. Only drop when you absolutely need the help on objective, right? So you're going back to high here, but you never should have dropped in the first place. Because that's downtime, right? I don't really like this. I don't really like, see, this is what's happening here. You need to be controlling the space that matters, and instead you're throwing fire strikes on a Moira and a Bastion. Now, if you were like committing, you are distracting them, right? This is okay, but I think you'd be better served controlling high ground and then looking to drop on them later. Like you're hitting fire strikes, but you're playing like a poke tank. This is something like a Sigma would do, you know, or a Hog would do, because sitting and holding high ground here doesn't matter a whole lot for those guys, right? But you got a shield, you got a hammer. If you're not hitting people with your hammer, you're not doing anything. Or if you're not holding your shield for somebody, you're not doing anything. So I guess at that point in time, it's like, how much value did that fire strike get versus how much value could I have gotten from holding high ground, looking to drop onto their backline? I almost would have rather you've taken this angle here and pinned into their backline, because that would have been playing to your strengths. You know, would it have been high risk, high reward? Yes, but at least it would have played more to your strengths. I like the idea though. So I'm assuming here you're thinking the Genji just killed the Soldier. I don't have time to take this long path to the high ground. I'm going to immediately take the fight to cart where the rest of the team is. That's fine. Hit him with your hammer. Hit him with your hammer. There's Javelin. Go. It feels bad, but it's okay. I would have been scared of Javelin there, but you got the kill. It's fine. Oh, that's unfortunate. Get him. Get him. Keep chasing. Keep chasing. Look at that. Look at that. All that time that he spent shooting you and he dies. No, 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 no. Good. We win this, yes? Get a swing. Get a swing. Come on. You had an opportunity there to get one swing. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's so unfortunate. It was just a question of, like, hitting another fire strike, hitting another swing, swinging around your HP a little bit more, like when the Diva's unmeching or remeching, or getting busted out of mech. You might be able to just hold here. Yeah, so your team's fighting, you need to go. You could shield this. You could shield this. Yeah, this is good. Good. It's fine. I think it was just a question of like going in too far. So like in demanding too much resource. So like here, your value is already all set, right? You force him off of high, good job. You don't really have the HP or the charge to keep going here. So like at this point in time, you're missing a huge chunk of HP. Your Mercy can't really heal you safely. And you don't have your charge and you don't have your shield. This is not the play to go in. You don't need to, because remember, what space are you controlling here? This space is, you're good. You've done your job. You don't have the resource to keep going here. So I like what you're doing in theory, but not given how much HP and how much shield you have left. So this is not a bad play. It's a bad play because of the HP and shield you have, if that makes sense. If you had HP and shield, totally different story. Look at how much space you create here. Look at how many people turn around, right? But you had no HP and no shield. So choose what sort of pressure you want to put with your hammer and your shield, depending on how much HP and shield you have. I understand why you went straight to cart here because it's OT. I wouldn't worry too much about it. My main takeaway so far, we'll keep going, is that I think you need to do a better job playing around your resource. I think you need to do a better job understanding when you need to be focusing on objective and when you need to be focusing on clearing space. A couple of times there, dropping the cart when you need to clear space. A couple of times there where you are, that last fight, for example, you have the right idea about pushing backline, but you don't have the HP and the shield for it. So you don't need to necessarily do that. And a couple of times where, like, for example, when you drop on second point with your BAP, you dropped a cart and then tried to retake high ground and then got distracted along the way. Just hold high ground. Hold high ground. Not just to shield your team, but because it's easy to drop when people hit them with your hammer. It's hard to drop onto the low ground and then not be able to reach them anymore. Or you have to go through the enemy tank to get to them. Okay. I'm glad you included 2 replay codes because I think we need more footage to get an idea, a clear idea of what we need to be working on here. Okay, hit people with your hammer. Good. Good use of cover. Just shield. Fire strike hits the wall there. That's a little bit unfortunate. I think this is mostly fine. I think if I really want to be nitpicky here, what I would do is I would avoid swinging too much into Orisa who's fortified whenever I can, because you'll end up losing more HP than you'll actually do because she takes so little damage. I would also try to aim my fire strikes for backline when they're so close. I know you kind of did it there, but you kind of missed. So I think like it's really important there that you actually hit the fire strike on the Orisa, obviously, and then try to hit the Ana behind. Try and hit the Batiste behind. That fire strike kind of whiffs. Your Symmetra feeds, your Soldier feeds. I think your Mercy messes up her pocket as well. Not the end of the world. You guys should be able to disengage and re-engage this. Oh, you're on Kiriko. I was so confused. It's fine. I might grab a mini here. Yeah, I think this is okay. You just didn't get any. You didn't get healing in your DPS. Unfortunately, didn't do a whole lot there. That's okay. Let's control top. Little details about the Orisa Fortify, some of the fire strikes. Even though I did say you had perfect fire strike accuracy. Just a little bit. Now, again, you have 2 options here. Your options are number 1. Control high ground, shield on high ground, look for an opportunity to drop and swing on the back line whenever you want to. Option number 2, you want to stop the objective. You don't want to let them push the cart all the way to here. That's okay. Drop it on a corner and stop cart. and prevent them from getting objective process, and then find progress, excuse me, and then find a way to hit people with your hammer. This does neither. This does not stop cart. This does not help your team control high ground. You are also not hitting anybody with your hammer. So you get 0 for 3. Now here, we're good to go. Because you actually hit somebody with your hammer. And you actually stopped cart. That's good. Orisa you can largely ignore as Reinhardt. That should be the goal. She's built to kind of annoy you and survive versus you, but you can't really stop you doing what you want to do. For example, right? Okay. And you're going to notice a lot of Orisas are going to do that. They're going to put all of their attention on you. Ignore it as much as you can. It's annoying, but your rest of your team will benefit from it. Easy peasy. Good fire strike. I don't know why you're ulting. I don't know why he's ulting. And there we go. Let's keep going. Monkey time. Now, you can, again, hold top here and shield for your team and hit monkey with your hammer. You can also stop cart and hit people with your hammer here. Because, again, the reason why you holding split from your team here is good, as opposed to where Dorado was like, why are you holding her? Is because the fight is happening here. This space matters. So you hitting your hammer on the space that matters is totally fine. That's for you to identify. What space matters? Can I hold it with my shield? Can I hold it with my hammer? Then actually go out and do that. Right now, you're in a position to control the Ana, to control the soldier, to control the Widowmaker. Great job. Look at these guys. They're scared to walk forward. Let me look at these guys. Poor Winston, right? Right? You have a little bit of a twitch with your fire strikes where like some of them are fine and some of them are like really quite bad. That fire strike is fine. That fire strike is not so good. This fire strike is bizarre. I don't know if you just saw him ducking behind the corner, but it's still worth throwing it there just in case, like, let's say the Widowmaker, Widowmaker peeks, right? Keep him in the choke. There we go. It feels like when you're focused, the fire strikes land. When you're not, they don't. I don't know that it's necessarily a hard mechanics problem. That one was fine. Don't use too much shield resource. I know you want to shatter here, but you don't need to shatter. And you see how you're losing HP here? Be very careful here. This walking here and just kind of swinging out in the open, you're just being sloppy with your resource. You're being sloppy with your resource. What do you get out from moving here to here and losing that much HP like that? Because remember, you're not going to get much healing. Because your team is being jumped by Winston. So make sure that you're preserving your HP and your shield. So that, like, let's say you did want to go for a shatter, or they did push you here, that you have the resources to do what you want to do, right? It's very easy to get kind of lazy with these little details as Reinhardt, but it's inexcusable. You cannot do this. You need to be 450 HP here with 950 shield or something like that, and do the exact same thing that you're doing. You benefit nothing from wasting resource. If you're pushing and it's costing you HP and shield, I get it, but you're not pushing. You're just kind of standing around. And do you see how you had to give up space? You could have just sat here. Dared them to walk on you and shatter them. Full HP, full shield. Or if you were to peek tight. Little fire strike. Don't use too much HP. Don't give them too much to shoot. Don't give up too much resource and shield for free. Look at your HP. Look at your HP. Good. Get rid of him. You need to track Winston Bubble. And I also don't think, as soon as you chase a soldier out, you hear him running back, you could have pinned here. But by the way, I want to point out that you're still not fully healed here. Good. Should have anticipated that a little bit better. And again, that's the only cooldown that you have to worry about, is sleep and nade. No other hero do you need to like really block much here. Unfortunate. Okay, so a lot of what I'm seeing is wasting resource, with specifically shield and HP, for no real particular reason. Not tracking the one cooldown or cooldowns that you need to track, and then not tracking the one cooldown or cooldowns you need to track for your shatter. So that might be a Suzu, that might be a Winston bubble, or a Ramatra shield. Remember, it's just like the Ana cooldown. Don't expect yourself to track everything. Just track this one thing, the most relevant thing, the most crucial thing, and move up from there. I mean, are you not going to go walk forward and maybe try and hit a little bit? I mean, there's no real risk for you trying to make sure that you're helping this guy out. You seem a little bit like a stick in the mud in terms of your team positions where you don't want them to. You just sit there and look at them. I'm not saying int with them, but like, for example, like again here, why on earth would you not walk forward and shield this or swing this a little bit here? Are they going a little bit early? Maybe, but what do you do? Just look at them? I don't know. Good, good. Controlling the backline, creating space, force him back. You see, here's the problem, okay? Again, what you're doing in theory isn't bad. Look at your HP, look at your shield. 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 Look at your HP. No. No. No, 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 no. No, no, no. You don't earn this anymore. This isn't deserved anymore. It's the same thing as the soldier on Dorado, where you go for a play, but you're indecisive, you're a little bit slow about it. And honestly, you don't even necessarily need to here. But I'm saying if you did want to go for this, you would need more HP and more shield. So you pin, missing 200 over 200 armor, and you're dead. If you'd had 200 armor here, you probably live this, or at least you get a kill or two out of it, and then it's a different story. It's that simple. And while you did that, you're also baiting your Kiriko. I mean, okay, to be honest, you kind of trolled here, but still, it's the right play, but you don't have the resources to do it. So you either commit earlier when you have the resources, or you don't go. This in-between stuff is rough. That's why a lot of these like feed style LH Cloudy kind of things work well, because there's no hesitation. They have full HP, full resources, and so it works. When you hesitate, it doesn't work. Sure. Uh-oh, this diva's running rampant. Oh, nano boosted Bastion. I don't know that you saw the Bastion. I will say, if we go back a little bit here, there was probably a pretty good reason, pretty good motivation for you, I guess, here. You know what? No, actually, the cart was too far forward. You needed to worry about, it's like that tricky objective versus creating space balance. But yeah, I think you just didn't pay attention to the nano boosted Bastion, so you're one shot. Okay, let's keep going here. The one cooldown. Remember, the one cooldown. It's not Matrix. It's not Fade. It's not Turret Form. It's just Sleep Dart. It's the only possible thing that could shut down your Shatter, and it shuts it down. Now, was it a bad Shatter? No, it's fine. It's still going to basically keep the backline busy so that you guys might be able to kill the baby diva, but could have blocked that Sleep Dart, right? Ooh, shield, 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 shield. Good, now you have the HP, so keep swinging, keep swinging. You're naded, but you're still close to full, so keep going, keep going. You could pin here if you wanted. You have the HP and the shield for it, right? In fact, you should have pinned there because you had the HP and the shield for it, and you have the symbol, right? Now you're pushing. Ooh. And he didn't have the HP and the shield for it. Unfortunate. It's the difference between do you have the resource for it, do you not have the resource for it when it comes to making plays like that. Those fire strikes are very lazy. That fire strike is also a little lazy. Very inconsistent with your mechanics. No HP, no shield, AFK, AFK. That fire strike is also very lazy. So I think it's a focus problem. I think you get a little bit flustered and your fire strike accuracy starts to go to pot. Focus on it. Focus on it. We'll talk about my strategy for these things at the end. That's a good fire strike. Felt like you actually aimed that one. You don't have any HP. You don't have any shield. Just AFK. Good. We win this one. Big shatter. Yes. Thank you. I even love the fact that you shielded here and you didn't swing. I probably would have tried to disengage, but maybe that's an opportunity for you to play your life. I don't know. It was okay. Let's keep watching. So you are a little lazy with your fire strike mechanics. You are a little bit sloppy with your HP wasting that you get, whether it's your resource wasting, whether it's your HP or your shield. And then partially because you're a little bit sloppy with the resource, and also partially because you don't really pay attention as much to your HP and shield, you will go for a push, but you don't consider whether you have the resources to make that push successful. For example, you could pin out and try to pin this Ramattra off the map. Very risky, but it would work because you have the HP and the shield. So even if it doesn't work, you will still be able to create space out of it and get out alive. Nice. Little lazy. That last fire strike needed to hit. One of these days. There we go. Okay, nice. Oh, what do we got here? More. Okay, I want to get to an actual fight here. Good. Playing a little bit around your resource. So you know this fight's lost. Maybe not. Shatter. I would shatter the diva here, honestly. Keep your Ana alive. Because that would kill her, because she's way overextending. Way overextending. This is a free kill. You don't have any resource. You don't have any resource. Careful. Good. Easy shatter. Play your life. That's okay. We'll take that. Wait, how does your team die here? Oh, you baited him. That's unfortunate. I will say you could have shouted that diva. She was way overextended. Remember, your target priority is who's available. You generally want to prioritize squishies, but if the tank is feeding, you're pretty good versus tanks. Take the trade. Don't have any HP, shield drop. Yes. Thank you. Still value. Still create space. Oh, that's something else. That's okay. You could take top left. Okay, this works. It's unfortunate, but it still creates a lot of space, a lot of attention. I wouldn't use a fire strike on a VAP window. You don't have any HP or shield. You need to get out of here. Get to cover. Getting a little bit silly here. Maybe. Let me think about this. So I think maybe a little bit more awareness of the Bastion earlier as he was walking forward. Swinging on the diva was fine, but the Bastion was there as well. And then here, as soon as I see the Bastion distracted, I think I immediately pin quickly before he looks at me. Otherwise, it's too late. You also panic and miss your fire strike, which, to be fair, would have only done 75 damage. If my math is correct, with the 50% damage increase and the 50% damage reduction. But Actually, no, the armor reduction as well. Yeah, either way. But it's a good point. Whether that would have won this fight or not, I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're looking for habits that need to change. Now I want to see what happens here. Right. Oh no, man. No, this fight was so winnable. All right, well, some mechanical mishaps. Wait. Ha! No, he's got a shield, mate, or fire strike or something. I think, here's what I think. You know, it's a shame that you're not in the voice call together. It looks like your play starts out relatively calculated, if chaotic. Whether it's, you know, they're going for these TP plays or holding the choke and playing the corner, but then as these games evolve, you slowly start to devolve. And it's, I'm sitting here trying to think about, like, how do I structure like this, like block the riptire or don't pin off the map, and I don't know. And I'm realizing, like, I'm asking the wrong questions. I think these problems are presenting themselves because you're getting flustered, because you're getting overwhelmed, and you start to choke. That's what needs to change. You know, there's definitely details and things that you're doing even when you are focused that we can talk about, like your sloppiness with resource management, deciding about a play based off of tracking how much HP and how much shield I have, getting sloppy with your fire strikes. But in general, the sloppiness is coming from you getting flustered and frustrated. I don't know if it's frustration or maybe just getting a little bit too excited or distracted, but I think the key thing for you is going to be about keeping your focus on just the one thing, and slowly working at that. Not worrying about the battlefield, not worrying about positioning or charge usage or anything like that. Just pick something, work at it, and don't worry about anything else. Right now you're overwhelming yourself a little bit with some of the decisions that you're making, and in the chaos that are happening in these ranked games, you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, and worse than that, because you don't know where to go, because you don't know what to do, you start doing really stupid things. Not just, oh, I messed up, I wasn't sure what to do. You're pinning off the map. You're missing fire strikes. That kind of thing. Let's finish this out. I don't... Yes. Unfortunate. Like right now, why on earth would you not kill the baby diva? Just kill her. She's gonna remake. She's way overextended. You're full HP basically. You could have killed her. It's little things like that that are just strange. I know you're thinking, oh, I'm down a few, but she's overextended. I think this is it. Yeah, it's just little details. So here's what I would say. What I would work on is let's make a priority list here. Managing your HP shield around cover / taking action better. Don't just waste resource. And I think that's going to be a partially cover usage, but also partially just your psychology of, I'm not just going to stand around and do, I'm going to be doing nothing, or I'm going to be doing something. I'm doing nothing, or I'm going to be doing something. Okay? Then decide what action to take based off of the resources you have. Avoid aggro plays when low on resources. And finally, work on calming down with the fire strikes, because your fire strikes were really good at points and times, and then they were really bad. And I think that was more of a getting flustered and excited and just throwing them everywhere. That needs to be practiced. And in general, work on simplifying, focusing on one thing, don't over complicate, fluster yourself. Oh, I'll add one more bonus thing. Practice tracking one cooldown you want to block. it's just, there's just too much going on all at once right now. And so instead of improving at one thing, you're just kind of throwing yourself in general, and you're making a lot of errors that you know in the time that you wouldn't normally make, but that's because you're getting flustered. Calm down, focus on one thing at a time. And by the way, I gave you a little bit of a priority list right here, but I actually don't think it's super important for you to get the priority list. Like, you need to master managing your shield HP before you practice. No, I would switch it up every day. I would switch it up every day. Even if you haven't even made a lot of progress at one, switch it up every day. Keep it fresh, keep it new. You have a lot of little things that you can work on. And I think the overall mindset of just getting better at practicing at one thing, even if it's just a little detail that'll help a little bit, is something that you need to practice at. It's like the focus isn't just on practicing at those specific things. The focus is just getting better at being able to focus on anything without getting overwhelmed. But yeah, let me know if that makes sense. Obviously went a little bit over here. A lot of little details, so if you have any questions, just message me, and good luck with your practice.